What's going on, guys? Welcome to the weekly live chat. This is live chat number 63. I appreciate you guys for joining me. I'm starting early tonight because I have something to do, so I had to get it out of here. So I figured rather than cutting the live chat to like 45 minutes, I would just start, about 40 minutes earlier so we could go about the same amount of time. I know there's going to be someone that comments on this later and be like, oh man, I didn't know you were going live earlier. I missed it, this and that. I'm sorry, but I'll be going live on Friday. So Friday, I'll be going live. We'll talk UFC 276. We'll talk all the huge fights. That's probably going to be a long stream. I started kind of doing that. I think UFC 274, the Friday before a big pay-per-view, I'll live stream for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, something along those lines. So on Friday, if you missed this live stream, which you can always watch back, the live stream, you just can't submit questions. On Friday, I don't know what time yet, maybe 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be going live for 2 or 3 hours, and we could talk UFC 276. And then on Saturday, I'll be doing the live post-fight immediately following UFC 276, which I really look forward to. That's one of my favorite things to do is the live post-fight. Ever since we switched over to the live format for the post-fight, it's made it pretty crazy. I can't get through all the questions, but still, it's good to get on there live rather than wait till the event ends, listen to the post-fight interviews, then record my video for 30 minutes or so, then edit my video, then upload it, and then by that point, it's already been an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half since the event ended, and then finally you get my post-fight. Now, you guys just get it immediately. As soon as the fight's over, boom, I pop on here, I go live. So Saturday night, you can anticipate that. On this live stream, we're mainly going to talk UFC 276. We could talk about whether O'Malley is going to be a huge star with a win over Pedro Munhoz. We can talk about Arman Tsarukyan being potentially robbed at UFC Vegas 57. All things I just threw into the title I thought were worth discussing today. So as always, do me a favor. Don't forget to like the stream. It is June 29th, 2022. We have 3,744 subscribers on the channel. So we're creeping towards 4,000. You know what I mean? So what is that? 256 subscribers away from 4,000. Which so next 2 weeks, 3 weeks max, we should hit that. Would be my guess. But appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like the stream and share the stream. So there you go. Okay. Put the questions in the chat. We'll see. We already have a couple in here. What's going on, Fast? I'm glad you could join. What's up, Alex? What's up, God Pilled? I don't know what that means, but what's up? Starting early, I see. Yeah, yep. I said it yesterday. I know there's going to be someone, though, that's going to say, what's going on here? I got to jump off early, so there's going to be about an hour stream, and then I'm going to jump off, but I'll be back on Friday. Who knows? I might even be back tomorrow. If I'm like awake and kind of bored, I might jump on here because I like streaming during the big fight weeks because there's so much to talk about. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of things that come out of Media Day, stuff like that. Yes, Arman robbed. Armed robbery for Arman. Oh man, yeah, I felt like the fighter that won. I felt like the better fighter did not get the decision on that night. I thought Gamrot lost 1, 2, and 4. I thought it was pretty clear. Watching it back, I thought it was a little bit closer. It just sucks. Regardless whether you think Arman won, whether you think Gamrot won, it's just a bad feeling being a fan and watching a fight and then watching a guy get his hand raised and you don't believe that he actually is the better fighter. It just kind of puts a damper on the entire event, in my opinion. And it's just 2 events in a row this has happened, for me personally, regardless whether or not it's a robbery or not, that word's just thrown around constantly. It's just a shitty feeling, and I'm sure there's people who felt like both the right winners got the decisions the last 2 weeks, but that's not me. I really don't think Gamrot or Tsarukyan, lost any stock, but still, same time, it just doesn't feel good to watch a fight, feel like certain guy won, and then it's completely different. So, Joey, which is your most anticipated fight on the UFC 276 card? 276. Oh my! I mean, let's rank fights. I'm gonna rank in which order am I most excited for fights. Okay, let's go to UFC 276. I already made all my picks on Tapology. So we are good. Number 1 fight I am most excited for on UFC 276. Let me put this away. The number one fight I'm looking forward to on UFC 276, Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway. This fight I've been wanting to see since the second fight. The second fight was razor close. And it's just two elite level featherweights, and both guys are so well rounded and so highly skilled. I'm curious what happens in this trilogy. I'm very, very curious what adjustments they make. They know each other very well. They're two of the best in the world. Bare minimum, they're number one and number two, right up there at top GOAT featherweights, with Jose Aldo in the mix, not just UFC or WEC or whatever. Really looking forward to that fight. Super high level fight. Can't wait to see who comes out on top on that one. What fight am I most looking forward to secondly? That's tough because I always enjoy watching Adesanya fight, and I'm curious if Jared Cannonier can figure out the puzzle. But even saying that, I just don't think he can. I think it's going to be a lot of him not being able to track Israel Adesanya down and not being able to land anything. So I don't think I can go with the main event as number two. I probably would go number two, Strickland Pereira, which I've been saying wrong apparently this whole time. So I would go Volkanovski Holloway, two Strickland Pereira. And that's because there's so many unknowns with the Strickland Pereira fight. Is Strickland going to enable the grappling? Is he going to make it a priority in this fight? Can Pereira stuff the takedowns if Strickland does try to take him down? How is Strickland? Strickland normally has pretty good stand-up, but Pereira is an elite level kickboxer, and I'm curious how he fares if Strickland isn't able to get him down. And if Strickland is able to get him down, I'm curious how Pereira holds up on the ground to Strickland's BJJ. So that fight is highly compelling. I think that's the hardest fight to pick on the card. So that's what I'll say is number two. Number three would probably be Adesanya Cannonier, just because I like watching Adesanya work. I think this is a tailor-made matchup for him to win. And it's a middleweight title fight. So I'm curious with that fight. It's not like a high level of excitement, but the closer we get, the more excited I am. Number four would be Pedro Munhoz versus Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, after like 8 or 9 fights in the UFC, he's fought nothing but trash cans up until this point. He's finally fighting somebody good. And I'm curious. I think he will win this fight. I think Pedro Munhoz, I get it. He's lost a lot of his recent fights. I get it that Sean's got a good matchup here with a short reach and a massive height advantage over Pedro Munhoz. So I get that, but still, this is the best fighter he's ever fought. Outside of maybe Marlon Vera, but at the time, I think Marlon Vera wasn't as far advanced in his skill set as he is now, so that's a debate that can be had. So I'm curious how O'Malley does. Again, it's not, I know people are going to overhype if he does win, which I suspect that he will win. People will overhype it because Pedro, again, he's fallen out of the top 10. Massive height and reach advantage for Sean O'Malley. But in my book, it will still be a very solid win, and it will be telling to see where Sean O'Malley's skills are at. Because Pedro Munhoz, for all the disadvantages he has, what's Sean O'Malley's worst nightmare? A guy with a granite chin and amazing leg kicks. And Pedro Munhoz has both of those things. So that fight is highly, highly, highly compelling. Next up after that, so I got Volk, then Strickland, then the main event, then the Munhoz-O'Malley fight. Next up for me is probably Brad Riddell, Jalen Turner. This is a massive test for Jalen Turner. And I'm curious. Jalen Turner looks like he could be the future of the lightweight division. He looks well-rounded. Every time he comes out, he looks better. Brad Riddell's coming off that massive loss to Rafael Fiziev. This fight is super compelling. Main event of the prelims. Really looking forward to that. After that, probably Lawler, Bryan Barberena, just because Lawler's probably my favorite fighter of all time. And Lawler and Barberena are never in boring fights. This could be fight of the night. It doesn't have... The only reason it's lower down the list is because it doesn't really have any implications within the division. Robbie Lawler's never fighting for a title again. Bryan Barberena's never going to fight for a title. But both these guys have incredible heart. They have great striking. They have great chins. And I think it's going to be a massively exciting fight. And supposedly that's opening up the main card now. That's what Dana White said. So unless something changes, that's going to be what's opening up the main card. Tapology's showing it as Munhoz versus O'Malley. But I listened to a Dana White interview from a couple hours ago, and he said that Lawler Barberena's opening up the main card. Next up after that, that's where it gets a little bit muddy. I don't really care all that much for Cerrone, Jim Miller. I mean, it's two legends. Should be a fun fight. Ian Gary, Gabe Green. I think it's the biggest test of Ian Gary's career. I'd probably go Uriah Hall, Andre Muniz. That would be my next fight that I'd be most excited for. Just because Uriah Hall, you never know what Uriah Hall is going to show up. Sometimes he looks like an elite level fighter. Other times he looks like dog shit. Muniz looks like he could be a future contender. The jiu-jitsu, the fact that he submitted Jacare Souza, who's one of the best BJJ guys in all MMA of all time, broke his arm in half, brutally snapped his arm. I think he's on a 3-fight armbar win streak right now. Yeah, he beat Eric Anders by armbar, Jacare by armbar, Fabinski by armbar. The fight before that against Araujo, he almost had an armbar, so he could be 4 fights in with armbars. The guy's a submission machine. Uriah Hall, when he shows up, he's a good striker. I'm curious what Uriah Hall shows up, and Muniz could jump himself right into the top 10 maybe with a big win if he makes it look impressive over Uriah Hall. After that, I'll say Ian Gary, Gabe Green, just because Ian Gary's biggest test. After that, I'll probably say Brad Tavares, Dricus Duplessis. I mean, Brad Tavares is the gatekeeper of the middleweight division. Dricus has looked good. So I think that's a compelling fight, and that's all the way on the early prelims. After that would probably be Cerrone, Jim Miller, and then the 2 women's fight. Jessica Eye, Macy Barber, I couldn't give a shit about. Jessica Rose Clark, Julia Stolarenko, I don't really care. I'm going to watch every fight on this card just because the card is just crazy stacked. But, you know, the 2 women's fights, and you guys know I like women's MMA. I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap. But these fights are low-level MMA fights. Jessica Eye is garbage. Macy Barber is not the future. Jessica Eye is on her way out. I mean, she's 15-10. Her record's 15-10. When's the last time she's won? Oh, my God. It's worse than I thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's lost 6 out of her last 7. And she's on a 5-fight losing streak. Yeah. Jessica Eye is definitely on her way out. I'm surprised she's still on the UFC roster at this point in time. So, yeah. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's not looking good. The Jessica Eye fight, I think she probably gets out-grappled by Macy Barber would be my guess. That would be my guess. I might do, I probably won't. I might do a full card prediction tomorrow. I've already got all my predictions out for all the other fights. So basically I would need to break down. I didn't do, for the 2 women's fights, I didn't do Brad Tavares' fight, and I didn't do Donald Cerrone, Jim Miller. So it's really easy to just quickly, like 2-minute breakdowns of each fight, go through the entire card. I might do that if I got time tomorrow. So we'll see. We will see. But there you go. I hope that answered your question, my friend. That was the longest answer you could have ever asked for. Soothsayer Weatherman, but there you go. Would you support a GoFundMe page to make sure the UFC event has someone filming the sick in the head judges at all times? No. Drugs are bad. I'm going. Okay. Yeah, maybe you can stream the press conference tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I probably will. I definitely will. I definitely will do a press conference stream tomorrow. It should be fun. Do you think Israel can ever pass Silva in the middleweight all-time rankings? Maybe, but not in my head. I'm a huge Anderson Silva fanboy, so Strickland is such a character that he is. Yanez versus O'Malley. Who you got? Probably Yanez. Blaze One Sports, what's going on, man? Thank you for being a member. Jared Cannonier rolls his eyes at the media a lot. He is one serious dude with no nonsense. No nonsense, Jared Cannonier. Are there any other MMA channels you watch? Not really. James Lynch, that's it. But very rarely. But I try to watch a little bit of all these different channels. Like I always ask you guys once in a while, and I guess you guys can answer. What are your favorite MMA channels? Like I'll kind of search around and click on a couple videos, watch like a couple minutes just to see what's going on. Just because, you know, if you're not paying attention to what's going on around you, you're not very smart when running a YouTube channel. So a little bit, but I don't watch anything for long periods of time. So I know that sounds surprising. Some people don't believe that. Strickland by KO. Fair enough. Can Snoop Dogg please call the O'Malley fight, please? No. Noah Turtle, what's going on, Noah Turtle? What is the origin of Lawler being your favorite fighter? Was it McDonald too or before them? Believe this or not, I was a massive Robbie Lawler fan. Basically when he entered the UFC. I liked his personality. I liked his fight style. I just liked everything about Robbie Lawler. And I remember, let's go back. Let's go back to his UFC debut. He made his UFC debut against Josh Koscheck, or his UFC debut. I'm wrong because he had 2 stints in the UFC. I always make that mistake. So I never saw him in his early stints. I wasn't a fan in 2004. I became aware of Robbie Lawler a little bit in Strikeforce, but I wasn't a big fan of him in Strikeforce. I barely knew who he was. When he came in between probably the Koscheck and the Bobby Volker fight is when I became a big fan of him. I just liked the way he carried himself. I loved his fight style. And then he fought Rory McDonald to that close split decision win. People forget he fought Rory McDonald twice. Then he had that fight against Johnny Hendricks, which really cemented him as one of my favorites. I mean, that UFC 171 fight was incredible. He lost, but it was a close decision, in my opinion, even though it was unanimous. And then he was just super active, just destroying Jake Ellenberger 2 months later, destroying Matt Brown a couple months after that, and then getting a rematch with Johnny Hendricks, winning a split decision. The guy was just a savage at all times. He was always looking to finish fights. I loved his fight style and the way he talked to the media, the way he answered questions, his personality in general, just kind of, I just enjoyed it. And that's why, you know. And then the classic with Rory McDonald, the classic with Carlos Condit. I was devastated when he got KO'd by Woodley. Then he went out there and beat the brakes off Donald Cerrone. And then he's on a 4-fight losing streak. But look at the level of competition. This guy does not say no to a fight. Dos Anjos, Askren, Colby, Neil Magny, all great fighters. Neil Magny, kind of a gatekeeper, but you get the point. Robbie Lawler is an amazing fighter, and I can't wait to watch him fight again. I have his autograph. I have a picture of that stare down of Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald, and it's autographed by both Lawler and McDonald. If you're a member, I've posted in the members Discord as well as the members community tab. What are the chances of Cowboy Curse striking the 3rd time in a row and his fight gets canceled? I don't even want to think of it. Joey, how would you feel no, I would not want that. Lawler throws punches in slow motion these days. This fight is going to be cringe. I disagree. I don't think he looked that bad against Nick Diaz. Are you going live for 276? Probably not. I thought about it, but it's hard for me to gather my thoughts for the post fight when I'm live. There's still a chance, but I don't think I'm going to. Maybe 277 I might. I haven't decided yet, though. It's not 100%. But I just like to concentrate on the fights when it's a big fight card. That way I can come on and give good thoughts for the post-fight. So it almost kind of ruins the post-fight in a way. But I might. Let's go, Jessica. Everyone, stop it. Literally one of the most annoying people I've ever seen. Who are we talking about? There. Does Nate fight before the end of the year? Does Nate? Yes. What was your reaction to Silva Weidman 1 and 2? Devastation. The first one, I didn't watch any MMA coverage. I didn't check Twitter for MMA news for like 2 weeks. Second one just broke my heart. It hurt. Just see him screaming in agony in the cage and then watching Weidman parade around draped in the American flag. Just put me off. Who's more feminine, Jordan Levitt or whatever his name is, or is he? I don't know, dude. I'll leave that up to you. Joey, do you think Ronda Rousey was a one-trick pony? Yes. Who's a fighter you thought would never get knocked out but did? Who's a fighter you never thought would never get knocked out? I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head. That shocked me. What's up, Kevin? How old were you when you got into UFC? Like 17, 18? You see more plates, more dates, exposed Usman for being on roids. I know this is an unpopular opinion. This guy is just looking at pictures from his house on his computer. I get that he understands the pharmaceutical side of PEDs. The guy is looking at pictures online from his computer and purely speculating. I get it. I get that he knows what he's talking about. But there's something off-putting to me. And I have no problem, do what you want. It's probably interesting. People love it. I've seen a lot of the videos myself. I even find them interesting myself. But there's something that doesn't sit right with me as far as what am I going to believe? Where did I get my information? Okay, I got my information from more plates, more dates. Where did he get his information? Well, he knows about PEDs and he's looking at pictures online of certain guys and their physique changes. For me, when I start to think about that in my head and I'm like, is that a reliable source? No, that is not a reliable source to me. It's interesting. You can take it into an account. But you don't know, you never know with these types of things. And also, not that I'm saying he's doing this, but when he attaches his name to championship level UFC fighters, I'm not saying he doesn't even believe what he's saying, but I'm just saying this is what generates clicks. This is what generates views. This is what generates monetary value to his channel. For me, it's not a reliable source. I'll put it that way. I do find it interesting. I do think there's some value to listening to what is said there, because he clearly has an expertise in what he's talking about. But for me, people take that shit with like it's concrete evidence, and I'm like, wait a second. So what's he doing again? He's looking up pictures on Google. That's what he's doing. He's pulling up people's Instagrams and diagnosing them with using PEDs. For me, it's not for me. Thoughts on Jorge Alaquinta's scorecard? I don't even remember. That's been so long. They should have matched up Lawler with Cerrone. Cerrone is completely... Stop it. Lawler's not completely washed, I don't think. Joey, do you think Rory would have been champion if fight with Lawler went the distance? Yes. If my recollection is Rory was winning that fight. What is John Jones' path to victory against Francis? Strike from the outside. Who would win, Magny versus Trinaldo? I have no idea, but I would probably take Magny. I was talking about Snoop Dogg being the most annoying people. I would be so mad if they had him. Well, they had him commentating Dana White's Contender Series. How are you, Joey? How is everybody? What's up, Kevin? I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good. Probably Tony for that knockout question. Yes, there you go. Thank you, French fries. You're answering questions for me. What's going on? A fighter I never thought would be KO'd and did was Tony, not the way he went out cold. Yeah, I agree. Do you ever see UFC becoming as popular as basketball, football with how universal fighting is? Tough to say. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. I just feel like football is just so popular, especially in America. But I don't know. Maybe worldwide when you actually add it up, could be. Usman could be on PEDs or maybe he isn't. But more plates, more baits didn't prove anything. If you think he did, you're a joke. There you go. Fair enough. Burt MMA, what's going on, man? How you doing? Joey, I would want to see UFC dual crossover with Bellator with O'Malley and Sabatella. Who wins? I don't want to see that at all, and it's never going to happen. So, did you catch Sean Strickland presser? Was awesomely funny. No, but I will check it out. The real MMA Burt is here. Let's go. The real. What's going on? If Usman's clean, I feel like he would comfortable talking about or bringing PEDs up, but he doesn't say a word about it. See, I just feel like that's so subjective. If he was talking about PEDs openly, then people would say, guilty conscience. Someone got a guilty conscience, huh? Or he knows an awful lot about PED use. And no matter what he does, we're not going to satisfy it. I believe a high percentage of MMA fighters are on PEDs, okay? Wouldn't shock me if anybody tested positive at this point. But the point is saying, oh, he doesn't talk about PEDs. Well, if he did, everyone would say, oh, well, he talks an awful lot about PEDs, There was a lot of people did that with GSP. GSP used to be very vocal about PED use in MMA. And people were saying, oh, well, look at him. Like somebody's got a guilty conscience or somebody's trying to, pretend, it's one of those people that's doing what they're saying they're going to do. We've seen this in history, whether it has to do with anything else, where people are advocates against something and they're outspoken against something. And that's something that they're advocating against, or then they are guilty of doing. We've seen it so many times in different things. So that's what people would start doing. Okay, but this is YouTube. What's going on, man? Burt has a fight with Fight Night picks in a few years. Okay. Prime Usman, Prime Yol, who wins? Prime Yol without a doubt. Too big, too strong, too explosive. What's up, homie? What's going on? If Conor versus Dos Anjos happened like it was supposed to, how long would that fight gone before Conor KO'd him? I would have picked RDA. I think RDA would have out-wrestled him. Do you think if Sean O'Malley loses this one that he will be demoted to fight card because he was a pay-per-view kind of fighter? Probably. We'll see. I don't know. I really don't know, to be quite honest. But maybe. Do you ever consider Charles Oliveira last fight, next fight, title defense? Yes, I do. I do, Alex. I do. I mean, he's the champion. It's bullshit. He got stripped, whatever. What's up, Antoine? I'm doing good. How are you? Joey, what's your favorite GSP fight? Definitely the Carlos Condit fight. He got dropped badly, almost finished with a head kick, came back to win. Incredible win. What's up? What fight are you most looking forward to watching on this Saturday? We already went through this, and I gave a list of every single fight that I'm most excited for on the card in order from like 1 to 12. But to answer your question, the trilogy, Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. The fight's just such a high-level fight. It's two of the best of all time at the weight class. It's for a title. There's high-level implications. If Volk loses, it's going to be a weird situation because the UFC is probably not going to want to book it for a fourth time. If Holloway loses, unless Volk leaves the division, Holloway's not fighting for a belt anytime soon. So it's high stakes for both guys. RDA with his metal jaw can't get knocked out. Yeah, RDA's only ever been finished. I don't know, only ever been finished. The only ones I can remember off the top of my head, he got KO'd by Jeremy Stephens way back when, and he got finished by Eddie Alvarez. Has Francis passed Stipe for greatest UFC heavyweight? No. I don't know if Dos Anjos would have beaten Conor. Mendes took Conor down, but found a way to get up. Yeah, but Chad Mendes came in on 1 week's notice, so RDA has submissions. Would have been fun. It would have been fun for sure. RDA has better grappling. He's much larger than Chad Mendes, and Chad Mendes came in on short notice. What's the feature O'Malley-Strickland fight? From what I understand, Strickland versus Pereira is the featured fight on the main card. Winner of Volk and Holloway, I think, will move up. I think if Holloway wins, I don't know. I think Holloway sticks around. But Volk wins, he probably moves up and fights the winner of Oliveira versus Islam, would be my guess, but we'll see. Early stream, what's the discussion for the early evening? Yeah, I had to start early because I gotta get out of here in about 40 minutes or so. So I wanted to start early and still do an hour or so. But I said it in the beginning of the stream that I will be streaming on Friday for like an hour or two. So, or 2 or 3 hours actually. Talking about UFC 276, all that good stuff. If anybody's in here who has not liked the stream yet, do me a favor and like the stream. And if you're on here and you're not subscribed to the channel, go subscribe to the channel. Joey, do you think if Max loses his third title fight against Alex, do you think he hurt his reputation of being the best? I mean, hurt? I don't know if he hurt it, but Alex is going to surpass him if he hasn't already. So I think Alex has already surpassed Max, to be quite honest. If Paulo Costa's next fight at middleweight or light heavyweight, I bet it will be at middleweight. I have a feeling it's going to be at middleweight. And there's plenty of fun fights for Costa. I know this is going to be the wildest thing you guys have ever heard me say. There's part of me that wants to see Costa Adesanya too. I know he got dismantled. I know he hasn't won a fight since, and I think he's only fought, once since then. But there's something about that fight. I want to see Adesanya Costa too. Nick Diaz versus Maia. Who wins? Maia. Arnold Allen predicted Holloway to win convincingly. He predicted Emmett to beat Cater when almost no one else did. Yeah. A broke clock is right twice a day, my friend. Random pound-for-pound matchup of the day. Volk versus Glover. If they weighed the same, I'd take Glover. Glover would probably out-wrestle him, probably submit him. Would be my guess. But that's such a weird matchup to even try to fathom because of the fact that... but because of the size difference. I know that you're saying they're the same size, but still. I can't believe we're almost to UFC 276. I remember when it was announced. Hold on. I remember when it was like talked about. What's going to be UFC 276? Like that doesn't seem that long ago. Let me go see when I made this video real quick. Let me go search my video content. If you guys haven't watched all my prediction videos, I have a playlist on my channel called UFC 276. It has all my predictions. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 predictions for the card. Full breakdown and predictions. They're all like 10, 15, some are even 20, almost 20 minutes long. The Max Holloway Volkanovski is 18 minutes long. All right in the front of the channel, right on the top. UFC 276 playlist. Go check it out after the stream. Go watch every single one of them. But I want to go look up something real quick. UFC 276. Let's see. I remember making this video right here. Real or fake, Chimaev Diaz. Let me go click on this. When did I make this? May 3rd, 2022. That's almost 2 months ago. And now we're finally here. I was talking about people were rumoring about Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. They saw it on the wall of the war room. So, and it doesn't seem like that long ago. Who's a prospect you thought was going to be champion but never even cracked the top 5? Prospect you thought was going to be a champion but never even cracked the top 5. Off the top of my head, I can't think. I was high on Johnny Walker. I didn't think he was going to be champion. He was a total bust. But someone that I thought was going to be champion, I don't know. Burns versus Figgy. I don't. What is that? A random pound for pound? They're both the same size. I take Burns. Luke Rockhold was asked about what brought his drive for the sport back, and he said because his partner got abortion and they broke up. Thoughts on Roe v. Wade? That's the last thing I want to discuss on the channel, but that's very odd for Luke Rockhold to bring that up. How badly would you cringe if Floyd versus Conor 2 happens? I'd cringe really bad. People don't realize how long Mac's been at the top of the division. He won the interim title December 2016 before Volk was even in the UFC. Very true. Joey, how do you see Alex above Max if Max has more title fights? But I can also see why you said that because Alex fought tougher competition. Well, there you go. Alexander Volkanovski's fought tougher competition, has 2 wins over Holloway, beat pretty much all the same guy. Like, let's look up Max Holloway. Let's see his run. Let's see his run in the UFC. Why is that not the first thing that comes up? Because it auto-filled that. Let's see. Anthony Pettis, Jose Aldo, okay. 2 Jose Aldo wins are great. Brian Ortega. Frank Yeager win doesn't mean shit. Calvin Kattar, good win. Yair Rodriguez, a good win. The 2 Jose Aldo wins are good, but Volk has a win over Jose Aldo as well. The Brian Ortega win, Volk has a win over Brian Ortega as well. Frank Yeager win doesn't mean shit. And Volk has 2 wins over Holloway. Plus, like, borderline, close to prime Chad Mendes is a good win for Volk as well. The Korean Zombie win doesn't mean all that much, but still better than the Frank Yeager win, in my opinion. So, just better competition, in my opinion. Plus 2 wins. Did Aldo beat Marlon or no? I thought he did. Sean said he knows he's trying to push Alex Pereira off his name, and I feel like that may be a dangerous fighter. I picked Alex, and I'm saying that, okay? 4 middleweights in 1 press conference. Fireworks. Sean Strickland. Oh, my God. Thought about it. It's funny. Yeah, I'll be streaming the press conference tomorrow, depending on what time it is. Arnold the Broken Clock Allen. I like it. Okay. Thoughts on Ryan Hall? A little bit overhyped. I don't know why he has such a cult-like following, but he's fun to watch. He's an interesting guy. What athlete from non-combat sports would do best in the UFC? That's literally such a tough question. You have to give me some options. I have no idea. I don't pay attention to a lot of people, a lot of sports outside of MMA. So you have to give me a couple options of people that I might actually know. So, and then I can probably give you an answer. I didn't see earlier who you got Trinaldo versus Magny. I'd probably take Magny. Also, who do you got RDA versus Colby? I take Colby because Colby already beat RDA. Very out of the park. What's up, Joey, brother man? Okay, what's going on? Keep out. Edgar win doesn't mean shit. It doesn't, does it? Would you classify neither? Top 3 UFC rivals or rivalries? Max, Volk, in no particular order. Max, Volk, Chael, Anderson, DC Jones, in no particular order. Who would win O'Malley versus Edgar? Also, did you expect Edgar to hold Chito down efficiently? No, I did not. I thought he would be able to take him down. I just don't trust Edgar. He's too short. Chin's a liability. I would take O'Malley. Do you think Adriana Yanez is the Wish version of Jorge? No. No, I mean, who did you have going into RDA versus Colby? I had RDA. I was wrong on that one. Options for non-combat athletes for UFC: LeBron, Tiger Woods, Steph Curry, Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky. I'll just say Tom Brady just for shits and giggles. Just messing around. I'd like to see Tom Brady in the UFC. Why didn't you throw CM Punk in there? Come on, man. CM Punk had an amazing run within the UFC. It's a great time to be an MMA fan. The beginning of this year was kind of shitty. It's starting to pick up. I mean, look at this schedule we got coming up right here. Let me take a look. Okay, UFC schedule and Tapology. We got UFC 276 this Saturday. The following Saturday, we got finally, it's cursed at this point, so it might end up getting canceled. But we got Rafael Dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev, the battle of the Rafaels. Really looking forward to that. After that, we have Ortega versus Rodriguez. I mean, that's a great main event right there. The card isn't that stacked, but we also got Jack Shore, Ricky Simon, Matt Schnell versus Sumoderi, I think is how you pronounce his name. I forgot. Lauren Murphy, Misha Tate on that card. Barn burner. I mean, July is a great time to be a fan. After that, UFC London, which is stacked like crazy. Curtis Blades, Tom Aspinall, Jack Hermanson, Darren Till, Nikita Krylov, Alexander Gustafsson, Paul Craig, Volkan Ozdemir, Paddy Pimblett, Jordan Levitt, Mohamed Mokayev, Charles Johnson, Makwan Amirkhani, Jonathan Pierce. All great fights on that card. And then after that, we got 2 pay-per-views in July, UFC 277. Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes 2. Brandon Moreno, Kai Kara France, Derek Lewis, Sergey Pavlovich, Magomed Ankalaev, Anthony Smith. Jeez Louise, that's a great card. I mean, it's not amazing for a pay-per-view, but you get my point. There you go. Jorge Masvidal's war. She's not explosive anymore. Offense and defensive reactions are slow. If Cody versus Sean did happen, be realistic, who would win? Cody Garbrandt? I think Cody Garbrandt's the better fighter, but I can't trust his chin. I'd pick Sean against him at this point. CM Punk versus Tom Brady. Who do you got? Come on, man. Joe, who's the greatest bantamweight of all time? I think it's Dominic Cruz. Agree. Would you classify the first round of Conor Dustin 3 a 10-8? Yes. Who wins without serious injury? O'Malley. I'll take CM Punk. Come on, man. Would you have scored the rounds in Justin versus Tony a 10-7 for Justin? No. Ronda Rousey was the GOAT. Okay. Thanks to James, we have gotten some new questions today at the pre-fight. Hate when they ask the same stuff. Well, that's good. I haven't seen any of that yet, but I'll be sure to check all that out tonight. What are your food plans during the pay-per-view this Saturday? I haven't thought about it yet. I don't know yet. Maybe some pizza. I don't know. I thought about streaming, but it's just going to be too hard sitting here for 7 hours streaming the card, and it's gonna be a detriment to the post-fight. So, Cannonier versus Strickland, who wins? I'd probably take Strickland. Clark versus Stoliarenko, I'll probably take Clark. Do you think Ngannou versus Jones happens? Probably Miocic versus Jones. I'd prefer Ngannou versus Jones, to be honest. To be quite honest. Getting dropped versus getting a minute of your back control with one rear naked choke attempt that never gets close to being locked in. What counts more for scoring criteria? I'd say getting dropped. So, it's more damage. So, who's faster than Aspinall at heavyweight? I don't know if there is anyone. Off the top of my head, I don't think there is anyone. I'm pretty sure 10-7s are possible, but it doesn't actually happen, so they're really not possible. Big win for Cody Stamann, even though it was against Warshed Wineland. I don't know why I threw the word Warshed in there. It was not in there. He needed to get back in the win column for sure. Dude, I was kidding. Calm down. I'd say you are correct. I'm correct about what? You guys got to fill me in. Half the time I forget. By the time I answer the second or third question after your question, I don't remember what I said. So, we'll see. But even though I'm probably not streaming UFC 276, we will be messaging live in the members-only Discord, and we also have a members-only Tapology. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description, and here's the link. Go become a member right now. I think we have about 40 people in the Discord now. So, go become a member of the channel. Good pick He did run the division for a while and got hurt, then came back and won the title again. Duplessis versus Tavares. I'm 50-50 on that fight. I might go Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares is a gatekeeper, but Duplessis, who has he beaten yet? I got to refresh on that one. But I'm not 100% committed on that one yet. I have to look that one up a little bit more. Dricus Duplessis, I think is how you pronounce his name. Tapology. So he's coming off a win over Trevin Giles. Yeah, he doesn't have any big wins. But he's a finisher for sure. Is he the favorite in this fight? It doesn't even show. Let's take a look. Apparently it's a near even. Let's see what people in Tapology are picking. People are taking Dricus by KO or TKO. I don't know. Brad Tavares is coming off the win over Amari Akhmedov, Antonio Carlos Jr. He got brutally KO'd by Edmund Shabazian. I was there when that happened. Lost to Israel Adesanya by decision. Right now I lean Brad Tavares, but I could change my mind. Yuri's not in heavyweight though, but probably. Would you say Francis is a go to heavyweight or Stipe? Stipe. I don't know why I really thought you picked him and didn't catch the sarcasm. Yeah. Joey, which fighter do you see becoming the 5th UFC double champ? I say John Jones. I'll say John Jones. What's going on, everyone? The hype is getting real this weekend. I'm super hyped. Need your take on what's next for Ponzinibbio. Maybe someone in the top 15 or nah. Ponzinibbio. Who should he fight next? Let's take a look. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. Probably a step back. Let me look up MMA World Rankings. Let's see where, just to get a good list of fighters here. Who would I match him up against with at welterweight? Santiago. You know who I would match him up with? Maybe the loser of Lawler Barberena. But, or he could fight maybe Li Jingliang. Nah, Li Jingliang has an upcoming fight against Muslim Salikov. Maybe Chaos Williams. Book him up against Chaos Williams. Didn't they fought before? Or did they not? I don't think they have, now that I think about it. Maybe book him against Chaos Williams. That makes sense for me. Duplessis by decision, I think. Joey, could I cash app to get into members only or have to go through being a member? I understand if I can't. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? I don't even know what that means. But yeah, I think you have to go through. There's no way for me to gift a membership. Somebody can gift memberships like through Super Chat, but YouTube decides who gets them. So I can't give someone a membership if I wanted to. Like if I wanted to give someone a free membership, I could not. So you have to have a card on YouTube, hit join, click the link, and sign up. That's what you have to do, my friend. Dricus Duplessis. Dricus? I thought it was Driscus or Dricus. I don't know. Israel just received his USADA jacket and grilled the haters by cupping his chest and trolling the Gyno haters. Fair enough. I'd do the same if I was him. I'd rather see Stipe John. Stipe skill-wise test John. Ngannou swings wildly and gasses out. Yeah, I don't know if he gasses out. He out-wrestled Cyril Gane for 5 rounds or last 4 rounds. Hardest hitter outside the heavyweight division. Hardest hitter outside of the heavyweight division. I don't know, my friend. I can't think right now. Who is the hardest hitter outside of the head? Because the first thing that comes to mind is Francis Ngannou or Derek Lewis. Who's just knocking guys dead? I'd probably go with Colby Covington. I'm kidding. I don't know. Who is putting guys to sleep? Who is knocking guys dead? I feel like maybe Jan Blachowicz would be my best guess. Munhoz Hall. I'm going Munhoz. I have a full breakdown and prediction on the channel. I know Yuri is a light heavyweight. Basically, what I'm saying is there's barely any light heavyweight as fast as 265-pound Aspinall. Aspinall is definitely soon to be champ. Cash App is like a PayPal kind of thing. Oh, I see. I've heard of it before, but I didn't know what exactly he meant, like in what kind of use. Joe, do you think Usman can surpass GSP of being the greatest welterweight of all time? What does he have to do? Defend his title like 3 more times, probably. Yeah, Dricus for sure. Dricus. Okay. Bookies had an opening line for Jessica Rose Clark as 2-1 underdog. I thought oddsmaker were supposed to be smart. What gives? No idea. Have a reflex to call Dricus Dracula. He bought the jacket off Amazon. MMA Joey say this. No. Would you be able to cut down a heavyweight limit if you had 1 week to make weight? Probably. Justin Gaethje's a hard hitter too. Yeah, I thought Justin Gaethje too. But just because of size, Jan Blachowicz definitely. Hardest hitting non-heavyweights, Ryan Spann, Michael Chandler. Jan Blachowicz as well. Jamal Hill, I see. One final promise, you will not criticize O'Malley no matter how he gets it done, but you have every right to stand over his grave if he gets KO'd or stretchered out. I'm saying this because now I'm going to criticize regardless. If there's something to criticize, I will criticize it. That goes for anyone, not just him, you know. I just give my honest opinion. If it's criticism, it's criticism. If it's praise, it's praise. I'm not gonna dictate my analysis on whether or not you love Sean O'Malley or not, GOAT. What's genuinely your take on the middleweight 185 Usman? What's your genuine take on a middleweight? I think he could have some success, but he's not beating guys like Marvin Vettori probably, or maybe not even Robert Whittaker at 185. What would you rank the main card fights as far as personal hype? Besides you, the beginning of this stream we went through this, but I'll go through it again. Volkanovski, Holloway, then Sean Strickland, Alex Pereira, then Munhoz, then the main event, then Munhoz, O'Malley, then Robbie Lawler, Brian Barberina. There you go. So, trilogy is my most look forward to fight. Underrated fighters in the UFC. Leon Edwards is massively underrated. Jamal Hill is another underrated guy, kind of. Arnold Allen, massively underrated. There's a couple answers for you. I don't need to go through a million guys. My bad. I was trying to say what can Usman do at middleweight, but my finger pressed send. Okay. Yeah, I think he could have some success, but it's going to be tough. Scale of 1 to 10, how tough fight does Sean Strickland have this weekend? I'll say like a 9. Because if he can't get it down to the ground, it's not going to go well. If O'Malley outclasses Pedro fairly easily, do you see him potentially becoming champ? No. It's possible, but I don't think a schooling of Pedro Munhoz necessarily says that he can hang with Petr Yan or stuff the takedowns of Aljamain Sterling or beat TJ Dillashaw. It's a solid win. It's a more natural progression than some of the trash cans he's been fighting, but it doesn't prove that he can fight in the top 5. You know, it proves that he belongs in the top 10. It proves that he's earned a shot against somebody probably in the top 5, but it doesn't prove he belongs there yet. It just proves that he is a legit top 15 fighter. Because right now he's fought nothing but trash cans. Getting caught in a gilly or getting KO'd, I think he has to be flawless to get it done. I don't think there will be anything to criticize. Okay. Can you pick the best 1 striker, 2 grappler, 3 submission guy, 4 talker, 5 excitement factor people in the UFC right now? Best striker, Adesanya. Best grappler, Charles Oliveira. Best submission guy, Charles Oliveira. Best talker, Conor McGregor. Excitement factor, people in UFC right now. Excitement factor? I don't know. It depends what you mean by that. Like, the casuals like it, or my excitement factor. For me, I'm most excited to probably see Charles Oliveira fight Islam. Usman wanted to fight light heavyweight champ. That's just garbage. He's just trying to promote himself. But it's all garbage. It's not going to happen. It's bullshit. Joe, what do you think of Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso? Because I think the one in the UFC are looking to make. I mean, I guess there's not really a lot of options right now. So maybe. I would favor Valentina to win that fight. Most likely. I'm Xing out of all these tabs that I have open because I don't need them all. I haven't watched too much of Arnold Allen. Doesn't he usually barrage his opponents like that? Pretty reckless? No. He's super well-rounded. He just happened to beat the living crap out of Dan Hooker. That's all that happened there. But typically he's more reserved. He's a great fighter. How does Sadiq Yusuf versus Giga play out? I think Giga would beat him up and outstrike him. And probably finish him. Joe, what are 3 super fights you'd love to see one day, and who do you think would win them? Jones and Ngannou, I'd pick Jones. Volk Oliveira, I'd probably pick Oliveira. And Yuri Adesanya, I'd probably pick Yuri. Oliveira versus Usman, if they weigh the same, can Grasso beat Valentina? If Oliveira and Usman are the exact same size, I think Oliveira beats him. Joey, I'm not the biggest fan of O'Malley. Just it's time to sit and say, wow, this guy is scary. Stop it. Stop it. He hasn't even done anything yet. Like, literally, right now, if you look at his record, Sean O'Malley, right? He only has one, right now, his current record, he only has one win. He has one more win than I have over UFC level fighters. Raulian Paiva is the only one left in the UFC out of all the guys he's fought. In every one of his UFC fights, since he's fought that opponent, they've only won one fight. If you add up all his opponents together that he's beaten, not Marlon Vera, that he's beaten, they have a combined win of 1 win after they fought Sean O'Malley. So, Raulian Paiva is the only guy in the UFC that Sean O'Malley has a win against. And after his most recent performance, I don't know if that's still going to be true very soon. Thoughts on Muniz? Very great fighter, great jiu-jitsu, great submission. Picking him over Uriah Hall. Have a full breakdown prediction on the channel. If you were McMahon or Sean Shelby, who do you book Chris Curtis next fight? Maybe Edmund Shabazian. Maybe Nasruddin Imavov. Maybe Kelvin Gastelum. That's what I would probably go with. Tavares is underrated. Agreed. Just found out O'Malley and Cannonier train at the same gym. That's a hell of a combination. Yuri over Izzy. Yes. Too big, too strong, too powerful. I think you win. If Alex Pereira somehow beats Sean Strickland and goes on to have a trilogy bout with Izzy, but it's MMA, obviously, we will low-key see Adesanya shoot for the first time ever. It's getting tough. It'd be interesting for sure. Chandler and Gaethje are so entertaining to watch. I agree. Joey, do you want to see Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev? The fight is so intriguing to me. Who do you got? It's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight. It's very intriguing to me. I would love to see that fight. I would probably go Movsar. I used to think that Charles couldn't punch hard, but he floored Chandler and Gaethje. Well, there you go. I mean, that straight right that he hit Gaethje with stiffened him up for a second. Joey, after Usman defends title against Edwards, is Khamzat next? Yes, if Khamzat wins whatever fight he gets next. What percentage do you give Masvidal becoming champ if Leon beats Usman? 0. He's not even getting that fight, and he's not beating Leon probably if he does. How much money would you pay absolute maximum to see Chris Curtis get a title shot? What do you mean? I mean, to be honest, I like Chris Curtis. He's a friend of the channel. Did the first ever interview on the channel. But would I just want to gift him a title shot in this hypothetical scenario? So, I mean, it'd be cool. But if he got it right now at his career, it would be a short notice fight. I wouldn't want that. So I'd like to see him get 2 or 3 more wins, get good ranked opponents, get those wins, and then get a title shot. So I don't know how to answer that question. So if that makes sense, I hope that made sense. If not, let me know. Okay, guys. We're going to go for about 10 more minutes. We're going to go for 10 more minutes, and then I'm getting out of here. I have to run, but I appreciate you guys all joining me. If you have any final questions, throw them in the chat. Again, I'll be streaming the press conference tomorrow, depending on what time it is, and I'll be streaming on Friday night for like 2 to 3 hours for you guys. Joey, I think the size difference will be massive when Alex P and Strickland get in the cage. Alex P is huge and lanky. It's crazy. Or to watch his title shot pay-per-view, my bad on phrasing. Or to watch his title shot pay-per-view. I still don't understand what you're asking. How much would I pay? $80. Like that's how much the pay-per-view costs. Can't believe Curtis was nutshot at 3 times last fight. I actually talked to him about that. Me and him were messaging back and forth. He said Mark Smith actually apologized to him after the fight because he missed, at least one of those nut shots. Because it was ridiculous. Do you like Buffalo Wild Wings? I used to like it a lot more than I do now. I occasionally get it, maybe like a couple times a year. What fighters that need to just move up in weight, to be honest? No clue. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I would want to see Bilal versus Hamzat next since Colby's out. Everyone keeps saying Colby's out, but there's no concrete evidence of that. I want Hamzat versus Colby, but I believe Colby will not take that fight. I believe we'll get Hamzat versus Bilal probably. How does Cannonier versus Costa play out? I think Costa outvalues him, volumes him. Costa wins. Yo, Joey, what's going on? What's up, Patty Mills? Hope you're doing well. It annoys me that Hamzat versus Colby isn't happening. I know it makes so much sense, and it's a great fight, and the build-up would be incredible. Prediction on main event. Saw you in MMA Junkie chat. Screenshot it and send it to me. Why didn't you send it to me? What were they saying? I want to know what they were saying. If you guys see me talked about in other streams, I need to know about it. I'm curious. What are people saying behind my back? Even whether it's good, whether it's bad, I want to know. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Colby versus Dustin. No. Colby will be injured. Which fighter is a must-win situation Saturday? I say either Pedro or Max. Both. Definitely Max, though. But Pedro as well. How do you think DC versus Francis would have played out? In their primes, DC would have dumped him on his head and controlled him. I feel Cater versus Holloway and Adesanya versus Costa are both legendary Fight Island fights. Adesanya Costa was a second-round finish. But okay. I mean, they're memorable for sure. Adesanya went out there and put on a performance of a lifetime against Costa. I'm putting 400 on Izzy by KO, biggest bet I've had in a while. I think Izzy finishes him. Would you like to see Ortega versus Emmett? Sure, but Ortega is fighting Yair. Izzy or Cannonier? I got Izzy. I just seen your message up here, I realized. I have a full breakdown and prediction on the channel. If you go on my channel, I have a UFC 276 playlist on the top. On the top of the channel, you can watch every single one of my predictions. Full breakdown and prediction for 8 fights on the card. 8 of the top fights on the card. So go check that out. I'm still waiting for Beside You to let me know what people were saying, man. What were people saying? Do you think Max will finish Volk like he's been saying? No, I do not. Who is washed in the UFC? Cowboy, probably. There you go. Dino has a full breakdown and prediction on the channel. Yup, you can check it out after this. Hopefully no... It didn't pop up on here, but it popped up on the YouTube chat. Hopefully no shit stains this weekend. I agree, man. I agree. KO is actually plus 120 odds somehow. I guess so. Ortega versus Yair. Yes, that's coming up. Who am I picking? I'm probably going with Yair. He's a much better striker, but the grappling could come into play. I mean, Max Holloway was taking Yair down, so Ortega will probably be able to take him down as well. Starting like Costa more recently, dude is funny. Yeah, he's always trolling online. Who's going to retire first, Cowboy or Wonderboy? Wonderboy, probably. Who's next for O'Malley had he won? Had he win? If he wins, I guess is what you're saying. I would like to see him fight next. Hold on. If he beats, let's see. If Sean O'Malley beats Pedro, I would like to see him fight the winner. I don't know. Everyone else is booked up. Who's Song Yadong fighting again? I swear, if he wins and they book him up with Frankie Edgar, I would like to see him fight the winner of Song Yadong, Corey Sanhagen. That's what it is. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Cheeto or Dom Cruz? I'm taking Cheeto. Cerrone's wash sucks to say, but Jim Miller sleeps Cerrone, double weight cuts. Joey, thoughts? Nah, they're fighting at 170. MMA Guru mentioned you last week in his live when someone asked if he would do a collab with you. What did he say? Let me know what he said. Fill me in. Keep out. You guys got to let me know these types of things. I'm always curious what other people are saying, whether it be in the chat. Someone sent me a screenshot beside you. I posted it in the Discord. They were like, hey, I saw you in the UFC presser live stream, and they sent me a screenshot with my name in it. It was beside you talking about me, which was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. Cerrone is wash. Sucks to say, but okay, I already read that. Remember Max was getting Yair on the ground literally by pushing him over. Yeah, that's what makes me worry. Already answered that. O'Malley versus Font. Who do you got? O'Malley. Font is just a pillow puncher. Does it make you mad that Sean O'Malley said if Chito beats Cruz, he deserves a rematch? No, nothing makes me mad, man. Nothing makes me mad. But he's just trolling. I mean, Sean O'Malley essentially does what I do to O'Malley caught like followers. Like, I troll the caught following of Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley trolls the caught like haters of Sean O'Malley. So he's just trolling the haters. That's all he's doing. So when I go out there, and just kind of poke fun at O'Malley, I'm just trolling the caught like lovers of him. He's trolling his haters, which is funny. I do the same thing. The fight night main events in July are so stacked. Yes, they are. Do you think Sean will finish Pedro? No, it would be a decision. But he did double weight cuts for 55 or Joe and didn't even fight. True. Is it kind of a punk? I don't know. Joe, what's next for Justin? And if you were to make for him, who would you put him against? Justin, I want to see him fight like Gamrot or somebody like that. Gamrot's calling him out. Chandler, I want to see fight McGregor. Oh, yeah, I always drop a random subscribe to MMA Joey for elite content in the live comments. I appreciate you, man. What was your reaction be if someone asked for your autograph? Dude, no one's asking for my autograph. Stop. I could have 100,000 subscribers. Nobody's asking for my autograph. First off, if someone asks me my autograph, I'm going to feel weird. A selfie, maybe. I mean, I would do that. I wouldn't feel weird because it'd be funny, you know what I mean, if they ran into me. But that's not happened, dude. I got 4,000 subscribers. Most people don't even, know what the channel is. What's up, Joey? I cannot wait for UFC 276. I agree. Pivo 44. I am super hyped. That's why I'm doing a long stream on Friday. We can discuss it. Who would you want to see O'Malley fight with if he were to beat Pedro? I already answered this question. The winner of Song Yadong versus Corey Sandhagen. Ricky Simone versus Yanez. Who and how? Who and how? I'd probably go Simone out wrestling him. Joe, which card's more stacked, 276 or 277? 276. I'm banned from MMA Junkie for spamming MMA Joey Army MF. That's hilarious. Who would you rather get punched in the stomach by Ngannou or leg kicked 10 times by Wonder Boy? Probably leg kicked. I'm gonna read the last few questions, then I got to get out of here. Let's see. Does Tate versus Murphy make more sense for a fight night main event? Yeah, that's what we're all dying to see. Who do you think headlines UFC 300? It's too far away to guess at this point. Anything could happen between now and then. Which fight night main event are you most interested in? Fiziev, RDA, Ortega, Yair, Blades, Aspinall, Vera, Cruz, Gone, Aspinall, Whitaker, Vittori. Ortega, Yair, for sure. Or Blades, Aspinall. If you ever came to Asheville, NC, you would have a fan here. Thank you, John Mundy. I appreciate it. Who wins, Corey or Song? Probably Corey. Are you ever going to do media interviews in person at UFC Media Day? Probably not. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, man. It's not easy to get a UFC media credential, okay? If I could, I would, but I'm not going to be able to. Nothing negative to say about the show. It's solid. You stay on topic. The small knit community allows for more questions to be answered. Has good companions and dual commentary would be fun. Okay. When are we seeing MMA Joey hop in the octagon? Who would you like to call out? Stop it. Never. Izzy versus Pereira. Who and how? I take Izzy. I don't know how, though. Who's a fighter you think can dominate in division that they aren't in? Too hard to think of right now off the top of my head. Let's see. Do you see Patty becoming champion? Absolutely not. Who's the lightweight champion by the end of the year? Charles Oliveira. Joey, would you make a video of you watching UFC 276? I thought about live streaming it, but I don't think I am. So, who do you think was the worst UFC champion? Nico Montana. Also, MMA Expert said he would have you on and hit him up on Instagram or something like that. Where are you seeing all this? Keep out. You got to let me know about this type of stuff. You're definitely more popular than most PFL fight. I'm done. That is one thing that has shocked me about the channel. For only having 4,000 subscribers, more people know about this channel than I would have thought. That's insane. Who would be a good replacement for Pedro if he pulled out? Nobody. That's the fight I want to see. His 50 jacket, yeah, that's hilarious. McGregor, Masvidal, and Howe. I would take Masvidal just without striking, probably finish him. Okay, guys. I appreciate you guys for joining me. I will be live on tomorrow for the presser. I'll be live on Friday. Don't forget to like the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go check out my UFC 276 playlist, which is on the channel. Breakdown and prediction for most of the fights on the card. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your night.